Hey everybody. So this is part one of my tutorial series where I am making this avatar, this specific avatar, and putting it into VRChat. So, of course, this is just how I do it, and it's been a lot of bumbling around in Unity and Blender to figure this out. I'm sure there are better ways to do it, but this is what I've figured out so far, and I thought I'd share it with you guys. So yeah, this is part one of getting your Guardian from Blender to VRChat.
Hey all, I'm Pug and welcome to my tutorial on getting a Guardian from Blender to VRChat. Alright, some things to get out of the way. Join this Discord, Destiny Model Rips. I will have a link to an invite code beneath this video. You want to join this. If you are serious at all about ripping Guardians, putting them in Blender, or what have you, 3D modeling even, they got some stuff in there for that too. Join this Discord. It is step one. So this is the community Google Drive. It has a ton of armor, and you can go all the way back to some Destiny 1 armor, and it goes through each season. You just click on a season. You can find armor, ghost shells, ships, sparrows, and later skimmers and weapons. So today with this tutorial, I figured why not do the clutch X-Toll set for the Titan. So that would be season 16, Witch Queen, armor, Titan, clutch X-Toll suit. So yeah, you'll want to grab the, not the PNG, but the file. And you're gonna download that. Takes a minute to do it. These aren't exactly the smallest files, so it might take a minute. Alright, so we got it. Now we're going to extract. Hopefully, you know, everyone here would know how to extract from a file, but, you know, right click, extract. I'm gonna do this in, yeah, I've re-recorded this multiple times. Tutorial for, so that's where my armor is gonna go. So there's that. And so now that is in there, and if you open it up, you'll have textures and you'll have the blend, which is what you actually care about. So yeah. Now then, you're done. Well, actually, let me think. Shaders. What shader should I use? So in here, if you go all the way back to the first level, there's shaders. I can't really think of anything, so let's just do Melchizedek Bramble. It's a purple one that I really like. So we'll do download. And again, we'll want to extract that. Extract all. Let's see. We're gonna put this in tutorial as well. Extract. Now I got them both in there. All happy hunky-dory. Alright. So we got our shader. We got our armor. Now we can go to Blender. I have way too many tabs open. Just don't worry about it. Or applications, not even tabs. This is actually pretty tame for me usually. Alright. So let's get on to the requirements and everything. So of course you're gonna want a Blender 4.0 plus. I'm using 4.4.0. So if you want the exact same like layout and stuff, that's what you're gonna want to use. Otherwise, just above 4.0 is generally best. Let me think. As far as I might as well let you guys know, VRChat, you're gonna also need the VRChat creator companion, which there's requirements to get that and to be able to upload your character. Okay, give me a second. I have it up right here. Creating your first avatar. You must have an account on vrchat.com. If you're playing on Steam or Meta account, you'll need to link your account first. Also, your VRChat account must have a trust rank of new user or higher. It's really not too hard to get past visitor, but once you're a new user or higher, you're good. If you're new to VRChat, you'll receive an email once you're allowed to upload avatars. So these are required to upload. You can get the VRChat creator companion beforehand, but it will just stop you from uploading. So warning you there. Okay, so back to Blender. Now that we've got that out of the way, I'm gonna go ahead and start a new file. A couple quick tips, since this isn't really a Blender tutorial, I'll try to tell you what I'm doing as I do it. But to look around the scene like this, you hold down the mouse scroll wheel. To zoom in, scroll wheel in and out. To pan, like so, you hold shift and hit middle click and then just drag it around. So yeah, that's kind of the most of what you're gonna see, other than maybe some window manipulation, which you can drag windows up and down. And you can also create new windows by, let me make sure it's easily visible and not behind my avatar. So you see right here, this corner where they meet, if you have a little crosshair right here, if you drag it, you can make a new window, which that'll actually come in handy later. But for now, we're just gonna get the armor in. So first off, save. Always save, because I can't tell you how many times this application has crashed on me. I'm gonna save it as that. Make sure you save it in a spot where you know where you can find it. All right. So first off, because we already have a blend file, we're gonna go to File, and then we're gonna go to Append, and then find where you have your file, your set that you got from the community drive. You're gonna double click that item. It'll be a .blend file, and then you're gonna go Collection, and then choose the preferred version of the armor you want, whether feminine or masculine. So I'm gonna choose feminine. And there you go. There's the armor already. So first things first, whenever you bring an armor set in, there's gonna be some junk on the side. Delete it. You can either click X and delete, or if you're like me, you can just drag and then click the delete key and it'll just automatically do it. All right, so this is your armor. It looks weird, it's orange. Not super interesting, I know. So first thing you're gonna do is make sure it's center on the Blender scene, basically. The plane. So what you're gonna do is Shift S. Well, hold up, I'm getting ahead of myself. Click on the tricorn on the ground. That's on the bottom of the armature, or the character. Shift S, and then selection to cursor, keep offset. That will center your character, as long as you did not move the origin point, which I won't really get into because that's more for Blender tutorials. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and select the armature, which is the tricorn, and I'm going to delete it because that is a IK rig. We want an FK rig, which down below will be all the links to external things I use, such as the skeleton, a link to a charm tutorial if you want to actually rip the armor from the game, which is totally safe to do. It's not going to get you in trouble in the game. Okay, let's see. We're going to append. I need to make sure I remember where I put this. D2 skeleton and hands. D2 player skeleton.blend. You're going to click on that. And then you're going to click collection. And depending on you, if you have feminine or masculine, you're going to get the version you want. FK rig. Cool. So now you can't really see it well. Also, yeah, you can't really see it very well. So what I'm going to do real quick is like click off of the armature or the character and click on like their foot where you can see the little pointy bits. That's the armature, and that's what I'm going to call it from now on. You're going to go over to the properties tab, which is this whole section here. Very, very important in Blender. Data. Viewport display in front. This will let you see the armature in its full blocky glory. All right. So next thing, just because these hands look a little weird, select one of the hands and delete them. You don't need both of them. Same with the neck. Go ahead and delete that as well. All right. So now we have our armature. Let's see how it looks. Okay, so there's a couple things that look a little weird, but never fret because it doesn't help too much to fret. So funny enough, I've noticed with lighting in Blender, sometimes it can make things look purple, but it's not actually purple. It is actually lighting in Blender that kind of does that. So if you see like little sections of purple like there, generally that is a non-issue, I've noticed. But if say you have an entire thing just like pink, like say it's like a hot pink, you're gonna go to File, External Data, Find Missing Files, and then you're gonna go to where all the textures are, and you'll it would basically be here, and then Find Missing Files. So yeah, and that should fix your pink issue. It shouldn't happen very often because the drive, they do try to keep everything packed properly, but just in case. So, all right, we got the armor set. We need to we need to put the armature to the character, right? We just added the armature. Now we got to connect it to the character. All you got to do is select the armature, shift, drag, make sure it's only the armor you're grabbing, not any lights or cameras or anything like that. And then you're gonna right click, go to parent, armature deform. And when you do this, make sure the armature is a light orange and the armor is a dark orange outline. It's a little hard to see, but it's there. Let me see here. So easy way to test this is to click off of your character, select the bones, go to pose mode up here, pose mode. And then over here is where you can like move things or rotate them. With bones, you only really want to rotate. You never want to really move them for general movement. But you should see, like, if you grab the upper leg, it'll swing back and forth. Or if you want to go side to side, you can do some really funny stuff, but either way, it worked. The mesh is moving with the armature. You're good. Okay. We're looking pretty good. I know we still need shaders, but first, let me see here. Is there any decals on this? I think this is just all part of it. Let's see, there's a mark. Okay. Checking a couple things because I have had multiple issues with like transparency decals, those types of things. So I was checking to see if this one had any. Usually it will be its own thing. Like if this red part was a decal, you could click on it and it would outline just the decal. So it's all one mesh, thankfully. Okay. First thing you're going to do, go to shader editor in this left column. You're going to see some stuff that's probably going to be really intimidating. It's not too bad, I promise, as long as you just don't get into the weeds of it. I have sort of gone into the weeds of it, and I'm a changed woman after that. But what we're going to do is we're also going to change this to text editor because we're going to put the shaders on. We're going to put the shaders on. So make sure nothing is selected up here. Just select the void somewhere and then open and then grab the shader you chose. It should be a file. It should have a set of Python scripts here. You're going to want the armor. And then you're simply gonna... Sorry, let me move this over because you can't see all of it. You want to press the little play button, which is run script. When you run that script, if you check over here now, we have a D2 shader like little tab here, and it says generate shader. What you're going to want to do is click your armor, generate shader. You're going to click on a piece of armor, generate shader. And you're going to do that for the whole set. Wow, I did not expect this to shade this way, I won't lie. I was expecting it to be darker, I won't lie. Especially the chest piece. You know what? I'm going to... Actually, no, that's probably right because we got the pink there. Okay. All right. Next part is we're going to pull this out a bit. Okay, so you see how there's multiple parts to each, like there's 2 plates. See, there's decals. That matters. Well, actually, wait, are those decals? Hold up, let me hide this. Yes. No. Okay, no, that is... Okay, we're good. It's not the decal I was thinking. I've done this armature before, so we're just going to, if it uses the same material down here, like, see the arm says Clutch X-Toll Gauntlets? And this says Clutch X-Toll Gauntlets. You can join those. You can either do Control J or... Oh, right. Duh. To select multiple things, just hold Control or Shift. Yeah. Left click, Shift, left click. You'll grab both. And then you can either right click and join, or you can hit Control J. I use a lot of hotkeys at this point, and I'm trying not to use them. All right. So we got chest piece, Shift, make sure that's together. So join that. The greaves only have one piece, so that's good. Gauntlets are one piece. Helmet. The helmet's got a goofy setup, doesn't it? Yeah. We'll join those. Wait. Oh, wait. The visor has a different shader, so that's the thing. That's something you have to be careful about. You see this has a visor material. This is just helmet. You do not want to join them then. I have realized it causes a lot of heartache. Okay. So, Mark, you can connect both of those. As far as like hunters go, hunter cloaks are weird. You kind of have to do a little extra work with them. But in theory, you can connect to them as well. Something I've noticed that helps a lot, because cloth is weird. You'll want to go to, you want to select the mark or bottom part of the robes for warlock or cape for hunter. You'll want to go to edit mode, click A, and then M for like Mary, and then hit by distance. It'll remove a lot of extra vertices and it'll make it move a lot smoother when you like run around. So there's that. Okay, trying to think if there's anything else before we get to baking. My mind is drawing a blank currently. Man, I really don't like this shader. Hold up. I usually like, oh, if for one reason or another you can't see everything on this top of a window, middle click the top of the window and you can scroll it to the side. I do that constantly and I forget to mention it. So I'm gonna open up and I'm gonna get Metro Shift. Okay, here we go. Metro Shift armor. Yeah, Metro Shift just looks better in my opinion. I really like Metro Shift though. All right, let's see. There we go. We got a nice, like, slight blue on the chest. Very diluted colors, but I think that's how it actually does look on the character. And my light is very bright. There we go. Yeah, okay. Remember, the purple's just Blender being Blender. Okay. So, let me make sure I changed everything to Metro. Easy way to check is to check shader preset here. Okay, we're good. Everything's Metro Shift. now we can move on. Everything's connected, except for the visor, I believe. Yeah. So I guess... yeah, it's a separate material, so I'll have to, okay, so it's one extra bake I'm gonna have to do. Well, can I just... no. Okay. I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm just gonna do it like I know I can. Okay, so here's baking. Texture, image texture. Plop it right in there. Don't connect it to anything. What you're gonna have to do for every piece of armor that has a material, you're gonna have to go through all these. Bake color, metalness, roughness, transparency, emission, specular, fuzz, and transmission. I'm gonna be honest, I'm sure some of these are not necessary, but I have not figured out which ones to keep and which ones to not. So, alright, so we're doing the helm first. Color. I go ahead and make this 2048. Only because you can make it smaller in Unity. So you might as well go big now. Make it small later for optimization. Helm color. You'll want to change this to UV edit, no, image editor. Because this will let you see what your bake looks like. Because a bake is basically a PNG that's wrapping around your object. So you're going to see it as a flat picture. Right now, it's all black because there's nothing baked on it yet. Or there's nothing on it yet. So before you can bake, this is the painful part for most PCs, is going to Cycles Render Engine, which is in the render properties, in the properties tab. It's under tools. It's basically near the top. Go to Cycles. Your PC is probably going to start blowing more air. I have a decent GPU, so I use GPU compute. And then you're going to scroll down until you see bake. Scroll down some more. And your big thing, you're going to make sure your image texture is selected. Make sure your helmet is selected. And bake. If you're following exactly, you know, the way I'm doing this, I'm going to do helmet, then probably work my way down. Okay. So my bake is done for color. All you gotta do is save as, and I would suggest right-clicking, new folder, and doing textures, just to keep things organized, because not keeping them organized is going to be hell. So save as image, helm color, that's correct. We're good. Next one. Bake metalness. Make sure that's selected. Make sure the helm is selected. You don't have to touch this top section until you're switching armor pieces, like you're going to the chest or the arms or what have you. So, okay. Make sure this is selected. Change this to what you're baking next. For me, it's helm metalness. And bake. See? Okay, so I have not selected it yet. If you hit bake, it'll absolutely break and be really cruddy quality. So always make sure to select this and make sure you see like a black box here before you bake. I have done that multiple times. And there we go. Some of these are going to be just white or just black, depending on what you're baking. That is perfectly fine. I'm gonna hide that generate shader just because it gets in my way. To hide those tabs, just hit N. Last, we want to get the normal, which we technically already have it in the file that you grabbed from the community drive, but to keep everything together, I go ahead and bake it. Normal. Of course, if baking takes a long time for you, then, you know, bake wisely. All right, there's the normal. And then that should do it for the helm. Yeah, it's quite a bit of... There's basically 9 bakes for every material. Now, not all of them are used in Unity. At least, not that I have seen so far. But I do all of them to make sure I have everything so I don't have to go back to Blender. So next we're going to do the chest piece. I'll go ahead and I'll probably speed up a lot of this next part just because I've already done one armor set, but I won't completely just cut it, just in case. Especially if I think of something important. So texture, image, new, chest, color. Okay, here we go. We've got last one baking. You got the legs normal. So I didn't say it then, but the visor, since it was not like the normal D2 player gear shader, I just baked the visor from the material output. So you click the material output and then click as you would any normal thing, and there you go. So obviously once you get into lighting effects and everything, it gets complicated, but I'm gonna see how it works in this tutorial, how the visor looks. But honestly, if worst comes to worst, it's basically just a black visor. I can do that in Unity without really much problem anyways. So, we're done with baking, finally. Hey guys, so this is the end of the first tutorial where we just finished up baking. I know it's a long process and
very boring. But if you got through it, you're through the worst of it, in my opinion. The Unity part really isn't as bad. It's more of a what do you want your Guardian to look like more than anything, and just plugging in textures. But yeah, good job getting through the first tutorial, and I hope you were able to get something valuable out of it. Thanks all.